Listen to me when I tell you this. It doesn't take 1,000 reasons to start. It only takes one reason, one spark, one moment of clarity where you decide, I will not stay the same. That's all it takes to begin. But understand this truth, the journey ahead will demand more from you than that single reason. Because when the nights get darker, when the pain cuts deeper, when doubt whispers in your ear telling you to quit, one reason will not be enough. That's when you'll need to look within and discover the million reasons why you must keep going. Your family is counting on you. Your future is waiting on you. Your dream is crying out, begging you not to abandon it. Every scar, every struggle, every sleepless night you've already survived, those are your reasons. You've come too far to throw it away. You don't keep going just because you started. You keep going because quitting would mean erasing everything you've already fought for. You keep going because every setback is proof that you are still in the game. You keep going because the world is watching, and somebody out there needs your story to remind them that they can survive too. One reason to start may light the match, but a million reasons will keep that fire alive. And when the smoke clears, when the dust settles, when you finally stand at the top of that mountain, you'll realize it was never just about you. It was about everyone you inspired by refusing to quit. So ask yourself, are you willing to stop at one reason, or will you fight for the million that are waiting for you? Because if you walk away now, you'll never know what you were truly capable of. Keep moving, keep fighting, keep going. There comes a moment in every life when silence feels louder than noise, when the weight of doing nothing crushes the spirit more than the struggle of trying. That moment, that decision, is where everything begins. It doesn't take 1,000 steps to start. It doesn't take the perfect plan, the perfect timing, or the perfect opportunity. It takes one thing, a decision. One reason strong enough to ignite your soul. One reason powerful enough to pull you from the comfort of where you are and push you toward the uncertainty of what lies ahead. People often overcomplicate success. They think it's about having everything figured out, about waiting for the right chance or the right blessing to fall into their lap. But the truth is, greatness is born in the instant when you tell yourself, I will not settle anymore. I will not accept the life of standing still. I will not let fear dictate the rest of my days. That's the spark. That's the beginning. That's the power of one single decision. Do not underestimate it. Every invention you see, every empire ever built, every champion who has stood victorious, they all began with one reason. One reason to stand up when everything else said sit down. One reason to walk when the road was unclear. One reason to believe when everyone else doubted. That is how revolutions are born. That is how legacies are created. And that is how you begin to rewrite your own story. Don't tell me you don't have what it takes to start. Don't tell me you're waiting for motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like the wind. What you need is conviction. What you need is that unshakable reason that forces you to get up, even when your body wants to quit. Even when your mind tries to convince you otherwise. The power of one decision is not in the size of the action, but in the courage to take it. A single decision can separate you from the person you used to be. A single decision can change the direction of your entire life. Some of you are standing at the edge, staring at the possibilities of your future, but fear has shackled your feet. You're waiting for a sign. Let me tell you, the sign is the burning desire in your chest, the dissatisfaction that keeps you awake at night, the voice deep inside that says you are made for more. That is your reason. That is the call you can no longer ignore. Think about it. One reason got you here today. Maybe it was the thought of your family. Maybe it was the hunger for freedom. Maybe it was the simple truth that you are tired of being tired, tired of living the same day over and over again without growth, without progress, without fulfillment. That one reason was enough to plant the seed. Now you must water it, Because a seed without action is nothing more than wasted potential. You can't keep living in someday. You can't keep telling yourself, one day I'll do it. No, today is the day you decide. Right here, right now, you must take that reason and let it push you into action. Understand this, there will never be a perfect time to start. Waiting for the right moment is just another excuse dressed as patience. The right time is now, because the longer you wait, the heavier the chains of regret will become. The longer you wait, the further away your dream drifts. But the moment you decide, the second you choose to start, everything shifts. The world begins to open up. Possibilities you never noticed before start to appear. Opportunities align. And most importantly, you begin to transform from the inside out. The power of one decision is not about instant success. It's about creating momentum. That single choice becomes the foundation of discipline, the first step of a marathon, the strike of the match that sets the fire. And once the fire is lit, you must protect it, feed it, and grow it, because the world will try to extinguish it. Doubt will creep in. Distractions will test your focus. Failures will whisper that you should never have started. But remember, those who made history were not the ones who waited for guarantees. They were the ones who trusted the power of their decision and refused to let it die. When you make that decision, you separate yourself from the masses. You separate yourself from those who only talk but never move, from those who only dream but never act. Do you want to live the rest of your life in what if? Or do you want to live in I did? That's the question you must answer every single day. And it all starts with one reason strong enough to make you fight back, one reason powerful enough to silence excuses, one reason that becomes your anchor when storms try to pull you under. You see, one decision can start a chain reaction that ripples through every area of your life. You start taking care of your health, and suddenly you have the energy to pursue your goals. You start focusing on your craft, and opportunities open that were once hidden. You start respecting your own word, and confidence begins to grow. All of it from one reason, one choice, one moment of clarity where you said, enough is enough. That's all it takes to begin. And maybe your reason is small right now. Maybe it's just to prove to yourself that you can do it. That's enough. Because small reasons grow into big reasons. That one spark can ignite a million flames. Don't dismiss the power of beginning just because it feels small. A single drop of water can create ripples that reach the farthest shore. A single match can burn down an entire forest. And a single decision can change the course of your destiny. So when you leave this place, remember this truth. You don't need 100 reasons to begin. You don't need applause, permission, or perfection. You need one reason to step forward, one reason to say yes to the fight, one reason to rise from the ashes of who you were and step into the greatness of who you were meant to become. And once you find that reason, hold it tight, guard it with everything you have, and let it drive you into action. Because the most dangerous lie you can ever believe is that you have more time. You don't. Your moment is here. Your chance is now. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the courage to act on that one reason. One reason to start is all it takes. And when you take that first step, you'll discover what you've been missing all along, the million reasons that will keep you going. Starting is easy. Anybody can start. Anybody can make the announcement, shout it out loud, post it online, tell the world what they're about to do. Anybody can put on the shoes, buy the equipment, or write down the goal. Starting is not the real battle. The real battle begins the moment the excitement fades, the moment the novelty wears off, the moment life begins to test how serious you are about what you said you wanted. That is where the test of continuity begins. You see, consistency is the separator. Continuity is the wall that stops the weak from becoming strong, the line that divides those who only talk about greatness from those who actually live it. Because when it gets hard, when it gets boring, when it gets repetitive, most people walk away. Most people convince themselves it wasn't meant for them. Most people would rather restart something new than fight through the grind of keeping it going. This is where your spirit gets exposed. This is where the truth comes out, because starting doesn't take much, just a burst of courage, a flash of motivation, but continuing day after day. When the results don't come quick, when the recognition doesn't arrive, when the pain feels heavier than the progress, that is where champions are born. That is where you either break down or break through. Continuity is about showing up when nobody is watching. It's about repeating the work when the thrill is gone. It's about enduring the silence when applause doesn't come. Most people cannot handle silence. They need validation. They need results. They need the instant reward to keep them moving. But if you can keep walking without the reward, if you can keep fighting without the crowd, if you can keep climbing without seeing the top, then you have something that few people in this world will ever develop: the discipline to continue. Every dream has a honeymoon phase. In the beginning, it feels exciting, it feels new, it feels possible. But the longer you travel the road, the more the weight of reality sets in. You get tired, you face resistance, you hit walls. And that's when the test hits you the hardest. Are you willing to keep going when the excitement dies? Are you willing to do the work when the feeling is gone? Are you willing to commit when the emotion has vanished and all that's left is the grind? That is the true test of continuity, and most people fail it. They confuse motivation with commitment. Motivation is emotional. Commitment is deliberate. Motivation asks, do I feel like it today? Commitment answers, I'll do it anyway. Motivation gets tired and walks away. Commitment gets tired and keeps moving. That's the difference. Understand this. Continuity is not glamorous. Continuity is not flashy. Continuity doesn't always look inspiring. Sometimes it's just dragging yourself out of bed when your body is screaming to stay down. Sometimes it's putting in the work with no applause, no recognition, no promise of immediate reward. But those moments, those days when you fight through the monotony, when you conquer the repetition, when you refuse to break even though nothing feels like it's working, those days are shaping you into something unstoppable. You may not see it now, but the results of continuity are delayed. You don't plant a seed and expect fruit overnight. You water it, you protect it, you wait, and you trust the process. And that's what makes continuity powerful. It transforms you long before it rewards you. The test of continuity is brutal because it doesn't just challenge your body, it challenges your mind, your will, your heart. It demands patience. It demands resilience. It demands that you silence the lies in your head that tell you it's not worth it, that it's not working, that you should give up. And when you push through, when you endure that test, you become unshakable. Because the truth is, the ones who continue even when every part of them wants to quit are the ones who cross the finish line. Quitting doesn't require strength. Starting doesn't require strength. But staying in the fight, that requires everything you have. And here's the thing, the test never really goes away. Even after you've made progress, even after you've achieved some victories, continuity will still test you. It will ask you, will you keep going when you're tired of winning? Will you stay hungry when you've already tasted success? Will you still show up when comfort tries to lull you back to sleep? Because the test doesn't stop at the bottom. The test follows you to the top. That's why so many people rise quickly and fall even faster. They thought the work was only required to get there. They didn't realize continuity is required to stay there. If you want to be more than just a starter, if you want to be more than just a dreamer, if you want to be someone who actually finishes what they begin, then you must embrace the test of continuity. You must learn to love the grind, to respect the process, to honor the repetition. You must understand that greatness is not built on explosive beginnings, but on relentless consistency. Every rep, every step, Every day you show up becomes a brick in the foundation of your destiny. And while others crumble because they can't endure the silence, you will rise because you refuse to stop. So the question you must ask yourself is this: will you only be the one who starts, or will you be the one who continues? Will you only chase the excitement, or will you endure the discipline? Because anybody can start, but only the few who continue will finish. Only the few who continue will taste the victory that others only dream about. Only the few who continue will inspire the world, because nothing is more powerful than watching someone refuse to quit, no matter how long it takes, no matter how heavy it gets, no matter how tired they feel. The test of continuity is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to forge you. It's meant to strip away the weakness, the excuses, the dependency on feelings, and replace them with strength, character, and unstoppable resolve. Every day you continue, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the excuses, stronger than the pain, stronger than the doubt. And once you realize that nothing can stop you, not failure, not fear, not fatigue, because you've trained yourself to endure. So when the days get long, when the work feels endless, when the results seem invisible, remind yourself that this is the test. This is the very thing that will separate you from the rest. Don't run from it. Don't curse it. Embrace it. Because if you can pass the test of continuity, there is nothing you cannot achieve. The race doesn't belong to the fastest starter. The crown doesn't belong to the loudest voice. Victory belongs to the one who refuses to stop, the one who continues no matter what. And that right there is how you win. Every journey worth taking will test you. Every dream worth chasing will fight back. Resistance is not an accident. It is a guarantee. If you think you can step into greatness without opposition, you are living in a fantasy. The moment you decide to rise, the world will push against you. The moment you take that first step, life will throw obstacles in your path. Resistance is not there to stop you. It is there to prove you. It is the furnace that burns away the weakness, the fire that forges the steel inside of you. Without resistance, you will never know how strong you can become. Without resistance, you will never see what you are truly made of. Think about it. Every time you try to better yourself, something rises to meet you. You decide to change your body. Suddenly cravings, fatigue, and pain show up. You decide to chase a dream. Suddenly doubt, critics, and setbacks appear. You decide to start a new path, and suddenly fear whispers in your ear, reminding you of every failure you've ever had. This is not coincidence. Resistance is the natural law of growth. Muscles don't grow without weight. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. Legends aren't born without struggle. The presence of resistance is not the sign you're failing. It's the sign you're on the right path. But here's where most people break. They believe resistance is a signal to stop. They confuse challenge with impossibility. The first time they hit a wall, they assume it wasn't meant for them. But walls are not meant to stop you. They are meant to test how badly you want it. Every wall you face is asking you the same question: will you climb me, break me, or turn back? And the answer you choose determines your destiny. Most people turn back. Few decide to climb. Even fewer break through. But those who keep pressing against resistance, those who refuse to back down, discover a strength they never knew existed. Resistance is uncomfortable. It hurts. It drains you. It makes you question yourself. That's why it's so powerful, because it forces you to decide who you really are. Anybody can keep moving when the path is smooth. Anybody can believe when the road is clear. But when the storm hits, when the obstacles pile up, when everything inside of you screams to quit, that's when your true character is revealed. Will you let resistance define you, or will you let it refine you? Every great victory in history was born through resistance. Civilizations were built by men and women who refused to bow down to impossibility. Champions were forged in the heat of opposition. Every story of triumph you admire is not a story of ease. It is a story of resistance overcome. So why do you expect your journey to be any different? Why do you think you should be exempt from the fight? If you want greatness, resistance is your initiation. If you want to rise, resistance is your teacher. If you want to win, resistance is your proving ground. You cannot pray for strength and then curse the struggle. You cannot ask for victory and then despise the battle. Strength is only built when you lift what is heavy. Courage is only built when you face what is frightening. Endurance is only built when you walk through the fire. Resistance is the very thing that gives meaning to your success. Without it, your victory would be empty. Without it, your story would be weak. Without it, you would never become who you were meant to be. But here is the truth: resistance will not go away. It doesn't vanish because you've already fought once. It doesn't disappear just because you won yesterday. It shows up again and again, each time harder, each time heavier, each time demanding more from you. And that's how it should be, because as you grow stronger, the resistance must grow stronger too. Otherwise, you would never progress. Otherwise, you would never evolve. Resistance rises to meet your level, and if you want to go higher, you must be willing to fight at higher levels. Most people stop at the first sign of resistance because they mistake struggle for failure. But the real failure is in giving up. Struggle means you're in motion. Struggle means you're still fighting. Struggle means you're alive in the game. Failure only arrives when you surrender, so don't run from resistance. Face it. Don't curse the difficulty. Embrace it. Every setback is an invitation to dig deeper. Every obstacle is a chance to sharpen your blade. Every hardship is the universe asking you, how much do you really want it? And let me tell you this, resistance will come from outside, but the greatest resistance you'll ever face is from within. The external battles are nothing compared to the war inside your own head. The voice that says you're not enough, the doubt that convinces you to stop, the fear that paralyzes you. This is the resistance that destroys most people, because it's not the mountain that stops them, it's the mindset. It's not the enemy outside that wins, it's the enemy within. And until you conquer that inner resistance, you will never conquer the world outside. But if you can silence that voice, if you can push past the lies in your own mind, if you can look fear in the eye and say, you will not control me, then nothing can stop you, that is when resistance becomes fuel. That is when every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. That is when every failure becomes feedback, because resistance is no longer your enemy. It becomes your partner in growth. It becomes the thing that builds you. It becomes the thing that shapes you into something unbreakable. So the next time you feel resistance pressing down on you, don't fold, don't retreat, don't throw away your dream because it feels hard. Expect resistance. Prepare for it, welcome it, because the very presence of resistance is proof that you are moving in the right direction. If the road is too easy, you're not on the path to greatness. You're on the path to mediocrity, and mediocrity will never satisfy the hunger inside of you. Let resistance be your training ground. Let it strengthen your resolve. Let it sharpen your character. Every time you push back against resistance, you build momentum. Every time you refuse to surrender, you gain power. And every time you conquer the obstacles in your way, you prove to yourself and the world that you are unstoppable. You are not here to live a life without struggle. You are here to rise above it. You are not here to escape resistance. You are here to dominate it. You are not here to turn back when the road gets hard. You are here to keep walking until the resistance breaks under your will. And when it does, when you stand on the other side of the storm, you will look back and realize the truth. It was never resistance that tried to stop you. It was resistance that built you into everything you were meant to become. When you first start, your reason might be simple. It might be small. Maybe it's to prove something to yourself. Maybe it's to escape the pain of where you are. Maybe it's to silence the voices that told you never make it. That's the spark. That's the beginning. But as you move forward, as you endure the pain, as you face the storm, something happens. Your reason begins to grow. Your purpose begins to expand. The longer you walk this journey, the more you realize it was never just about you. The more you fight, the more you grind, the more you rise, the more you see that your one reason has multiplied into a million. This is the gift of perseverance. Your purpose gets bigger the further you go. At first, you might run just to survive, but eventually you run to inspire. At first, you fight just to escape your past, but eventually you fight to create a future for others. At first, you dream just for yourself, but eventually your dream becomes a lifeline for someone else who needs to believe it's possible. Purpose expands with every step you take, and when it expands, it gives you more power to keep going. People often think purpose is something you find in the beginning. They wait to start because they think they don't know their ultimate why. But purpose isn't always revealed at the start. It unfolds through the process. It reveals itself in the grind, in the discipline, in the trials you endure. You don't always see it at first, but every sacrifice, every struggle, every time you keep moving forward when you could have quit, it's shaping a greater purpose inside of you. Think about this. Maybe your reason to start was your own freedom, but along the way you realize your journey has given hope to others chained by the same struggles. Maybe your reason to start was to provide for your family, but along the way you discover that your courage created opportunities not just for your family, but for entire communities. Maybe your reason to start was to chase a dream, but along the way, you see that your persistence lit a fire in people who had lost theirs. That's what expanding purpose looks like. It's when the reason you started grows into a mission bigger than yourself. And this is why quitting cannot be an option. Because if you stop, you'll never see the full expansion of your purpose. If you give up, you'll never know who else you could have touched, who else you could have inspired, who else you could have lifted with your story. Your journey is not just about your reward, it's about the ripple effect your fight creates. Every person who watches you refuse to quit gains strength from your example. Every soul who sees you endure resistance gains courage to endure their own. You may not even realize how many lives your perseverance is affecting, but make no mistake, every step you take is bigger than you. The beauty of an expanding purpose is that it keeps your fire alive when your initial reason starts to fade. Because yes, there will be days when your first reason doesn't feel strong enough. There will be days when self-motivation isn't enough to carry you. That's when your growing purpose steps in. That's when you realize, I'm not just doing this for me anymore. I'm doing it for everyone who's counting on me. I'm doing it for those who don't have the strength yet. I'm doing it because if I quit, I'm not the only one who loses. That realization gives you a deeper drive than any momentary motivation ever could. Expanding purpose changes how you see obstacles. When you're only fighting for yourself, it's easy to justify quitting. It's easy to say, I don't feel like it. It's too hard. I'll try again later. But when you know others are depending on you, when you know your fight carries weight beyond your own life, quitting is no longer an option. You fight differently when you know someone else's hope is tied to your endurance. You push harder when you realize your children are watching. You dig deeper when you know your story might become the lifeline for a stranger struggling in silence. This is what separates those who endure from those who fade away. Their purpose expanded. They allowed their reason to grow into something greater than themselves. That's why they kept going when others quit. That's why they stood tall when others fell. Because their fight wasn't just for them anymore. It was for something bigger, something eternal, something worth every ounce of pain. But understand this. Purpose doesn't expand by accident. It expands because you chose to stay in the fight long enough to see it. Too many people never experience this because they give up before the transformation happens. They quit before their reason grows. They turn back before their purpose evolves. Don't make that mistake. Don't rob yourself of the deeper meaning that's waiting for you on the other side of struggle. Keep pushing because your purpose is still unfolding. And the truth is, an expanding purpose gives you unlimited fuel. When one reason feels too weak, another rises to take its place. When your personal motivation runs dry, your external impact takes over. When the weight feels too heavy, you remember who else you're carrying it for, and suddenly you find strength you didn't know you had. That's the power of an expanding purpose. It multiplies your reasons to keep going until you realize you'll never run out of them. So let me ask you this. What if your struggle right now isn't just for you? What if your pain is building a bridge for someone else? What if your perseverance is planting seeds that will grow long after you're gone? Wouldn't that make every ounce of sacrifice worth it? Wouldn't that make every battle meaningful? You see, purpose is not just about what you gain, it's about what you give. And the more you continue, the more your life becomes a gift to others. Your story is bigger than you. Your dream is bigger than you. Your fight is bigger than you. And the longer you stay in the fight, the more you realize that truth. That's why purpose expands. It has to. Because what you're building is not just about your success. It's about legacy. It's about impact. It's about leaving something behind that outlives you. And that is why you must never stop. The one reason you started was enough to light the fire. But the million reasons you've discovered along the way, that's what will keep it burning for a lifetime. So keep going, keep fighting, keep walking your path, because your expanding purpose is not finished yet, and the world needs to see the full story you were born to tell. Perseverance is the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to be. It is the process that strips away the weakness, the excuses, the doubts, and molds you into a version of yourself you never thought possible. The truth is, transformation doesn't happen in comfort. It doesn't happen when things are easy. It doesn't happen when the road is smooth. Transformation is born in the fight, in the struggle, in the dark moments when you want to give up but choose to keep going anyway. Perseverance is the engine of that transformation. Without it, you remain the same. With it, you become unrecognizable. People talk about change like it's a decision you make once, but real change is not instant. Real change is forged over time. It is tested by fire. It is built on repetition, on resilience, on an unbreakable commitment to keep moving forward no matter how many times life knocks you down. Every time you get back up, you are not the same person you were when you fell. Every time you endure, you gain something new: strength, wisdom, courage. That's the beauty of perseverance. It reshapes you without asking for your permission. It turns your scars into armor. It turns your failures into lessons. It turns your pain into power. Understand this: perseverance doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. The struggle might be about your dream, your goals, your ambitions, but the deeper work is happening inside. Every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice you make is carving away the parts of you that don't belong in your future. The quitter inside you dies a little more each day you keep going. The doubter inside you loses power with every obstacle you overcome. The weaker version of you is left behind, and a stronger, fiercer, wiser version emerges. That is transformation through perseverance. The world loves quick fixes. People want overnight success, instant results, immediate gratification. But that's not transformation. That's illusion. Real transformation is slow, painful, and relentless. It doesn't give you what you want when you want it. It forces you to wait. It forces you to endure. It forces you to bleed for it. And in that process, you become someone who doesn't just achieve the goal. You become someone worthy of it. Because if it came easy, you wouldn't respect it. If it came without struggle, you wouldn't appreciate it. The fight gives it meaning. The perseverance gives it value. Think about the hardest moments in your life. The ones that nearly broke you, the ones that made you cry, made you doubt, made you wonder if you could go on. You survived them. And because you survived them, you're not the same person you were before. You walked through fire, and now you carry fire inside you. That is transformation. You didn't just make it through. You became stronger because of it. And the same will happen with every challenge you face as long as you refuse to quit. Perseverance guarantees transformation. It guarantees growth. It guarantees that no matter what happens, you will come out better on the other side. But here's the secret: perseverance doesn't feel like transformation in the moment. In the moment, it feels like struggle. It feels like exhaustion. It feels like failure after failure. That's why so many people quit. They don't realize that every step forward, no matter how small, is reshaping them. They think nothing is happening, but everything is happening. They think they're standing still, but every ounce of pain is building them. They think the fight is breaking them, but the fight is actually making them. Transformation is invisible in the process, but undeniable in the result. Perseverance teaches you things success never could. Success can make you soft. Success can make you complacent. Success can fool you into thinking you've arrived. But perseverance keeps you humble. It reminds you that nothing worth having comes without sacrifice. It teaches you discipline, patience, endurance. It builds character that can withstand storms, not just sunny days. And when you finally reach success, perseverance makes sure you can hold on to it, because many people can reach the top, but only those transformed through perseverance can stay there. And let me tell you this: perseverance doesn't just transform your abilities, it transforms your vision. When you endure long enough, your perspective shifts. Things that once felt impossible begin to look small. Obstacles that once terrified you now feel like stepping stones. You stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start asking, "What else can I conquer?" That's what perseverance does. It rewires your mind to see challenges as opportunities, to see setbacks as setups, to see resistance as fuel. That mental transformation is the key to living a life without limits. Transformation through perseverance is also contagious. The more you endure, the more your story inspires others. People see your scars, they see your struggles, they see your refusal to quit, and they realize they can do the same. Your perseverance becomes a light for someone else trapped in darkness. Your transformation becomes a blueprint for someone else's breakthrough. And without even realizing it, your fight begins to transform lives far beyond your own. So when you feel like giving up, when the weight feels unbearable, when the road seems endless, remember this: you are not just fighting for the result. You are fighting for the transformation. You are fighting to become the person who can handle what you ask for. You are fighting to become the version of yourself that cannot be broken. And that version is waiting on the other side of perseverance. Don't rob yourself of that transformation by quitting too soon. Don't let the pain convince you that nothing is happening. Every rep, every tear, every sacrifice is molding you. Every battle is chiseling away the old you and building the new you. And one day, you will look in the mirror and not even recognize the person staring back, not because you achieved the goal, but because you became stronger, wiser, and greater through the fight. Perseverance is not glamorous. It's not comfortable. It's not easy, but it is worth it, because the reward of perseverance is not just success. The reward is transformation. And once you've been transformed, once you've been refined by fire, once you've discovered the power inside you, nothing, no one can take that away. You will carry it with you into every battle, every dream, every season of your life. You will know without a doubt that you can endure, you can survive, you can rise again. That's the power of perseverance. It changes everything. It changes your mind, your body, your spirit. It changes your capacity, your resilience, your outlook. It takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. It takes the weak and makes them unbreakable. It takes the lost and gives them direction. Transformation through perseverance is the ultimate victory, Because no matter what you gain or lose in life, who you become in the process can never be taken from you. So keep fighting, keep pushing, keep enduring. Don't stop when it hurts. Don't stop when it's heavy. Don't stop when you're tired. Because the longer you persevere, the more you transform. And one day you will stand tall, not just because you reached your goal, but because you became the kind of person who cannot be defeated. That is the true reward. That is the ultimate transformation.